Hi friends, I'm Victoria. Welcome to another reading vlog. It is Friday. That's when I typically start my reading vlogs. So I finished a book last night and I'm off on a new one starting this morning. So I'm really excited about that. If you're new, please subscribe or like this video. That would help me a lot. I am pretty new to YouTube, but I do bookish content, book reviews, recommendations, TBRs, wrap-ups, vlogs, the whole shebang. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. And yeah, today I had an interview this morning and that went pretty well, and now I got nothing to do until later tonight. We're going to go to dinner with some friends. Until then, I'm just going to go around to some stores and look at Halloween decor. You know, the huge, it's like what brings me joy right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just making me some lunch right now, but a little vegan chicken sandwich. Have a few things I need to return to, like TJ Maxx and Home Goods, and then I'm gonna go to Walmart because there's these Halloween pajamas I'm on the hunt for. They're so cute. They have like Frankenstein, Dracula, like all the classic like villains and monsters on there, and they just look so cute, and I'm on the hunt for those. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm starting a new book. It's called The Center. Now, I haven't heard anyone talk about this book, and I just decided to put it on hold on Libby because, well, the cover dragged me in. I was like, sorry, my dog is running back and forth. This happens every single video. Shh, calm yourself. But I haven't heard anyone talk about The Center, and basically it seems really funny. I don't know, but it drew me in on Libby, and the cover did. I thought the cover looked really cool. And then I saw that it was a thriller suspense, and I was like, okay. And then I looked up what it was about, and it's pretty much about this man who goes to a school, and it's a language school. And the school says that they can teach you a language fully, fluently within 10 days, which is like, okay, but there's like a trade-off. There's a cost to it, and it seems like there's like a sinister cost. So I have no expectations for this. I just saw this and I thought it would be interesting and very different and unique. I just thought that would be something different and sounded good to me. I haven't heard anything about it, so I wanted to give it a go. So yeah, I will eat my lunch and then get started on that, and then I will update you once I kind of know what's going on. Hi friends, so an update on The Center. I'm a little over 30% in now. So far, our main character, Anissa, she translates subtitles and like different novels and things into her native language from English, and she is Pakistani, and she meets this man at college. He's a pretty average dude, but he can speak multiple languages. I think he said, I don't know, like 7 or something, like a ridiculous amount. And she just thinks that he's kind of like a savant when it comes to language learning. And he speaks them completely fluently. It's very impressive. And they start this relationship. They like each other. He is kind of like not performing in the bedroom, so that's an interesting thing. I don't know if that's going to come into play later, but she ends up taking him home after being together for a year to meet her family. And when they're there, well, they're on their way there, and this whole time, this whole year, she's been like, learn my language, and he like can't seem to absorb any of it. Like when she like tries to teach him just regular phrases throughout the day, they're on the plane to go meet her family, and he asks for a coffee complete and like fluently in her language. So I think it's Hindi. I think that's what she said. But so she's kind of upset because she's like, how do you know? Because she's like, did you just learn this? How is that possible? You are speaking it fluently. I don't understand because you haven't been speaking to me in this language. And he had previously just gone to a work trip in Berlin. And so then she's angry, and she is like, you need to tell me the truth, because she thinks that he's lying to her, and he is. And so he tells her, and he basically says, I'm only allowed to tell one person in my life about this. So this is very important. And he tells her about The Center. So it's language learning. He says you go for 10 days, and you learn a language fluently. It costs $20K. And she feels a little bit betrayed too by that. And while she's home with her family, everyone's just like gawking over him and how he is like a Western white man and he can speak the language fluently. And she's kind of upset by that because it's like they were only treating him that way because he's a white man that can speak their language. And if he wasn't white, then they would have treated him probably differently if he came from a different country. So there's that aspect to it. And then after the trip, she just realizes they're not meant to be, but she is intrigued by this school and she goes in for an interview to go to this school. And when she goes, they're very secretive, says she can't say anything about it. She has to sign all these documents, NDAs. She has to go in for like a full like medical screening, like some pretty intense stuff. And then she goes to the center. She's kind of having a hard time. There's no contact with anyone else. The only people she can talk to are like, I think her name's Shiva. She is over the whole center and she speaks with her like kind of daily, just like quick little updates and stuff like that. But it's very secluded. She has to give up her phone. There's no contact with the outside world, no technology. Like all they do is like they meditate, eat a specific diet, and then they spend most of the day in like a learning pod where they listen to the language they're trying to learn. And she's trying to learn German. And so, and it's really interesting. I love the setup of this, and it's not scary or anything so far, but there is like a suspense element to it that I am liking, and it just sounds really intriguing. I love any kind of plot with like an institute like this kind of thing, and the atmosphere has been pretty decent. I mean, it's very much like a sterile environment, but there's all these plants, and it's being turned into like a modern building that they added on from like a historical mansion. And she's having a hard time because she does not understand anything that the recording that she's listening to is saying when she's in the booth to learn this new language. And she gets frustrated. She's about 6 days in. She's having a hard time. But now she made it. She knows the new language, but she made it through. She knows German. She was shocked when it happened, and she's not through with all the days yet. I think she's on day like 6 or 7 right now. But she's formed this friendship with it's not the owner, but like the CEO, the person in charge, and she really likes her. I don't know if there was like a sapphic kind of romance or attraction there, but yeah, there's that going on. And then we're like learning that the things that they listen to in the booth, in the learning booth, is like people's stories and lives, but it's just like from one person. And the guy that she's listening to, his name is Peter. So there hasn't been much scary stuff going on yet or anything like super thrilling, but I mean, all the stuff that I've said up until this point is in the synopsis. So I have not made it to like the twist or where we realize what the stakes are or what the cost of this truly is, aside from the $20K that I had to pay for it. But yeah, I am really excited to see where this goes. I'm loving it so far, and I just really like this idea of like an elite learning school. And they said that like some royals go there, like celebrities, like all kinds of people go to it. So, but it's very exclusive, and each person can only tell one person about it. So it's awesome. I'm really liking it so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But we are about to go to, we're gonna go to a record store before we go get dinner with some friends at City of City in Denver, and we're gonna go to Wax Trax and look at some records before that. But yeah, I'll update you later. Hi friends. Okay, so it is Saturday afternoon now. Last night we had so much fun with our friends and just having some food and chatting and catching up. And then last night I came home and I was so tired. I turned on TV for like a little bit. I was trying to watch like a spooky movie, and I got 30 minutes in and I was like falling asleep. So I went to bed really early. I got up and went to a yoga class. I went to the store. I've been like trying to hunt down these stupid Halloween pajamas, and I went to Walmart, they didn't have them there, and then I found them online at another Walmart kind of farther away, and I did in-store pickup, so hopefully I'll get them, that they aren't scooped up before they pick my order, but I'm hopeful about that. I know you're probably like, who cares? I've been looking for these pajamas. I saw them online and I was like, I need these pajamas. And I've gone to Walmart so many times over the past like a week looking for them, and I really hope that I get them. But anyway, I've just been home reading. Drew's out at a friend's playing a game, so I have been reading. I'm almost 60% into the center now. I'm still loving it. The writing is so good. I love the characters. There's a level of social commentary throughout about colonialism and being an immigrant and how hard it is to be a person of color in different countries, as well as like a woman in different positions of power, and I'm loving it. Last spoke, I mentioned she had left the school, she had learned German, and yeah, and it goes into like how her life has changed, but how some things have stayed the same since then, and like how there's all these insecurities that we have, and we like just kind of commentary on how you might improve something, but then there's always something in you that you want to change or like make different. And I like that aspect of it. And I'm about 60% in. I'm almost 60% in. She goes back to the center. She's continuing her friendship with the supervisor, Sheba, and it sounds like she is like romantically interested in her. And then some spooky things have started to happen. I'm not going to give anything away from there. Pretty much everything that I've said is in the synopsis just about, so I'm not going to go far into anything else. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading. I hope I can finish soon. I think I might be able to finish within the next couple of hours, so I will update you once I'm done. Okay, friends, I just finished the center and I'm a little bit conflicted now. When the twist happened and you kind of find out what's going on, I was a bit underwhelmed. I expected a lot more. And I feel like the things that were uncovered, I just kind of, not that I called them, but it was just felt very basic and not what I had hoped for reading through this novel, and me really liking our main character and convinced and, you know, dedicated to like the decision she was making and what she was going to do, and then finding out what was actually going on here, because I wanted it to be something wild so bad. Like I just had hoped for that, and that was not it. So I'm conflicted about it. I will say, I think I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I love the setup of there's this institute and kind of like the schooling, dark academia aspect of it, but instead with older adults and like their 30-year-olds. I really like that aspect, and I think that was unique. I love the idea of being able to learn this language, but at what cost? But then the cost was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I should have seen that happening, and now that I know that that's what's going on, I'm not as appalled. Like, I was waiting for something like truly wild. Like, I was thinking once we found out what was happening that there would be more to come out about it, or more to happen, or more to happen to our main character, and it doesn't. So that was a bummer to me. And yeah, I'm conflicted about it. I think it was good. I just thought it could have been way better, especially because I was really loving it there for a while, and I was hooked on finding out what was going on, and what was going on was just not as scary or wild or thrilling as I had hoped, and that it was like setting it up for it to be. So Not a total flop at all, but I really loved the commentary here. There's so many aspects where she talks about class and culture and race that I really enjoyed. I loved the commentary there, and also just being a woman, misogyny, and how, you know, men are the worst sometimes. I love that, but overall, not my favorite. Could have been so much better, but that's okay. With the last update, I was still loving it, and that was at the 57% mark. So it was really when I hit that 70-75% that it started to go down and tank a little bit. So if that tells you anything. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to read next. I will update you. It's like 4 p.m. now, and Drew's on his way home. I don't know what we're going to do tonight. I don't know if we have any plans. I'm kind of like hoping to just stay home. We did go out last night, and I'm usually like a one night a weekend plans kind of person. I like to be at home. So yeah, we'll see, and I will update you once I'm on to my next read. Okay, so I have started Ripe by Sarah Rose Eder. I know this is on a lot of people's lists, and I had it checked out, and it's a short one. It's only 7 hours, so I was like, let's knock this one out. And so far, it's pretty interesting. Our main character, Cassie, she is in Silicon Valley. She works for a startup, and her job is very brutal. The startup is not super ethical. Employees there are kind of just like faking it and trying to get by day by day, and her boss is a horrible person, and she's just trying to exist in life. One day her CEO calls a few of them into his office and basically is like, our competition is gaining speed on us, we're gonna have to do something, and basically gave an ultimatum to the people in that room that they were going to have to come up with a plan to destroy the competition. And they're willing to do things that are illegal as well in this. So our main character, Cassie, is in this meeting, and then it's 2 other people and the CEO. And the other person, Sasha, is her person that she directly reports to, and she sounds like an absolute horrible human, has been really mean to her so far. So poor Cassie is just working at this job, and it is not the best environment. It seems pretty toxic, honestly. And from the very beginning, she's talking about this black hole and saying that this black hole has always been following her even since she was young. And I'm not sure if it's like supposed to be a metaphor for depression or literally a black hole she sees following her. So I don't know about that yet. And, you know, we're kind of going back and forth. She's talking about her childhood, growing up. She grew up in this town right by this chemical plant, and her family still lives there, and her mom seems like her mom was abusive, both physically and mentally. That's what it seems like so far. So she's kind of like going back and forth, talking about her life and her job now, and just like struggling with working at this company, the immense wealth that there is, but also in Silicon Valley, the amount of homelessness and just the wage gap and the differences in class there. And I think that's super interesting. And she talks about how every day she basically is doing drugs to, like, she is doing coke and things like that to stay up and alert in finishing her work. So she's developed this habit. She does it every morning, so that's not good. And she just seems to be kind of in a mess and trying to figure things out, all the while working for this very intense, toxic company. So I don't know where this is going to go. I'm really liking it so far. I'm also liking how it's written. It seems a little bit like stream of consciousness, but not too much. There definitely seems to be a obvious plot being written out, so I am liking that so far. And it also will go into like definitions of certain words that I'm liking, and it's also going a little bit into science-y, like black hole, like going into what is a black hole and things like that, which I find pretty cool. And yeah, but I will update you later. Hi friends, it's Monday morning now. Yesterday we just kind of hung out around the city, went to some bookstores and some shops and record stores and had lunch. And then we just came home and I listened to my audiobook. I did a puzzle. Drew was painting something. And yeah, we just hung out, and I finished Ripe while I was doing my puzzle. Really enjoyed it. I'm giving it 4 stars. It did feel a little bit, the ending felt a little bit like uncompleted, and that's really my main issue with it. But wow, the commentary on just life and how things are hard, the hustle culture, working in a startup. Like if you've ever worked in like a corporate setting or a startup setting where it's like that hustle culture and like all the fakeness and being hyped and excited about a company, even though the company sucks and doesn't care about people really at all. It's all just a facade. If you've ever worked in that environment, you will enjoy this book. Also, I do want to say like lots of trigger warnings here. There are a lot of sensitive topics in here. I mean, the main overarching point is depression, and our main character, Cassie, is very depressed. She has suffered from depression since she was a child, and she describes it as this black hole following her. And it's just like a very spot on way to describe that. And we'll talk about how it gets bigger at times when things are worse, and how she's going through all of this and no one cares and no one is listening, not her family, not the people that she works with, not her friends, and like no one understands. Like she feels very misunderstood. And especially now, since she is in San Francisco working at this job at this startup, and this huge tech startup, and she doesn't really have anyone there, and she's in a horrible relationship. I mean, not even a real relationship, they're just kind of like sleeping together, and then and some things happen. It's also before the pandemic, so we're like hearing about like this virus, and that it's getting worse. It's in America, like as that is exasperating. And then it's just talking about how her rent goes up, and she can't afford her rent. She's already like struggling, and just all of these aspects of real life. Like it's so real. And that's what I really enjoyed about this book. Like there were parts where even it was funny because she would talk about corporate life and different things like that, and just how people go along and fake it and act like everything's fine and it's not. And yeah, I felt like it was just so real, and it explained everything in a really easy way to digest, and just in a way that sometimes it was funny because it was so spot on. And yeah, I really liked it. It was definitely sad, like the trajectory and like how things just keep getting worse for her, and there's no one there to help her and no one willing to listen at all. Like no one cares, and it's just so sad, and the ending is definitely sad. So if you liked my year of rest and relaxation, I think you would absolutely love this. It's very much the similar kind of thing. I did enjoy my year of rest and relaxation more, but this was still a very good, spot-on story. Sorry, the trash truck is going by. But this is still like a very spot-on, relevant story about depression and being a woman and just life in this day and time. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was such a short read, like it was super short. Like, so if you're looking for something a little bit speedy that you can get done in a day, I definitely recommend it. Okay, so the last book I'm going to read in this vlog is Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. I'm so excited about this. This is the book that the new season of American Horror Story is based on. It's pretty much just a revamp of Rosemary's Baby. I am absolutely obsessed with Rosemary's Baby. I love it. I saw the movie when I was in like 5th grade. I probably shouldn't have, but I started watching horror pretty young, and that's why I'm like desensitized to everything. But I absolutely love Rosemary's Baby. It's still one of my favorites, and I'm so excited about this book, and so far it is really good. I think I want to say like 20 or 30% in, and we have our main character. She's in show business. She was in a short series for a while when she was younger, and it got canceled after a couple seasons, but it got picked up by Netflix, and it kind of has this like cult following now. And then she got a role that in a movie that has kind of popped off, and there's like talk that she's going to be nominated for an Oscar and like all these kinds of things. So she's having a really big moment right now, and she's older now. I think she's 40, around 40, and she's just talking about how, you know, things have changed. She's older. She put off, you know, having a family to focus on her career, and she's been doing IVF, and just like the timing of she's doing IVF now, and then like this movie just happens to be popping off, and how, hello Jasper, and how, you know, it's a very stressful time for her. But right off the bat, things are starting to happen, and I'm so happy like how fast paced it is. But right off the bat, we have her, you know, she's going to her IVF appointment, and she gets a call from her husband. He's like, "Where are you?" And she's late, and she's like, "No, my appointment's at like 8. And he's like, "No, it's at 7. You're 10 minutes late already." So she rushes there. She's like, "I'm sure my appointment was at 8. But they were able to do the appointment. But as she leaves, there's this woman that she notices that is coming to the office, and she's taking her picture, and she's like annoyed by it, but she's in such a rush that she can't focus on it, because she has just gotten to the appointment and she's already like running late. So that's happening. And then she's talking about how, you know, there's people online who are constantly like going after her, like saying things, especially since she's older, like calling her ugly, like she's so too old to be attractive, like all this stuff, like really just misogynistic bullcrap. When you think of women in show business, I'm sure they get it all the time. But and so there's a few people online she's worried about, and then this woman taking this picture of her, and there's just like these weird things going on. Like she knows she put her medicine for her IVF journey in the fridge. It was left out, so there's that. So then they had to like emergency call in a new prescription. Her husband's kind of like annoyed with her because they're going through this IVF journey, and this is like the 3rd round that she's done, and they're hoping that it's going to take. And she has like all this press stuff she has to do because of this movie and how successful it's being. And he's annoyed with her about that, and just kind of being like annoying, like small wiener energy, you know what I mean? And so he's being a little bit annoying, but I also get it. I'm sure it's been really stressful having to go through like 3 rounds of IVF, but like he doesn't even realize how stressful it is. Like it's mostly stressful on her. But anyway, and she is starting to see things, hear things, and she ends up seeing someone at her apartment. And this is after she kind of hears that that she has an egg that might be viable, and she believes that like she is pregnant at this point. Like she truly believes that like it worked this time. And she sees this woman in her apartment, and she calls the cops. Like the person leaves, she calls the cops, and I don't know if it's like them not believing her or what's going on, but anyway, they have extra security now. They're being extra careful. And she's kind of just like looking into like different people online, like who could be doing this? Like, does she have a stalker kind of thing? That's what she's worried about. Outside of that, we are also following other people, and I have been introduced to 2 other people at this point. The first person, her name is Low Preacher, and she has the same name as the woman that took her picture outside of the clinic. So there is that. And her POV is from 1987, and she went through like she's going through like a surrogate thing. and we haven't heard a lot about her POV yet, or her story yet, but we know that she was like, I can't remember if she was like being a surrogate or like she's going through like the surrogate journey. And then I just got introduced to another character. I can't even remember her name, but I looked at the table of contents and it does tell you like who it is and the time, if that's relevant. So that's definitely helpful, because I had to go back and look a couple of times because I got a little bit confused. And we just got introduced to another woman who is a doctor in the like female OBGYN space. So she's just talking about how horrible and misogynistic the whole healthcare system is. She talks about advances in the gynecological space were made through abusive practices, especially on women of color and Black women. So I'm liking that it's bringing that in. If you've never heard of that or researched that, you definitely should. I want to say Bailey Saren even has an episode on this. Super easily digestible to watch it from her POV. She's such a good storyteller. But yeah, it goes into women in pregnancy and how horrible Black women in particular were treated, and just to make some medical advances. It's awful. And then like those doctors are praised for it. It's so sad. But yeah, so we're hearing from her point of view, and she meets a woman, and they're kind of like talking about like how can we change the game for women in this industry and in this like medical space. So that's what we're hearing so far. There's a lot going on. I wouldn't say it's confusing per se, but it's more like they introed this new person, this doctor, and I was like really confused at that point. And then I had to look, and I was like, oh, this is a totally new person. And then I looked at the table of contents, and I saw that they will be introducing like more people. So I was like, okay, just like need to be aware of that. And for you, in case you're reading or listening along to the audiobook. But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. It's really fast paced. A lot has happened already, and I am already like invested in what's going on with our main character, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I want it to get so spooky. Yay! Hi friends. Okay, so it's Tuesday now. I did finish Delicate Condition last night, and I have to say I really loved it. I loved it so much. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. I do want to say also that I did get the physical book as an ARC from NetGalley and Source Books, so just for transparency there, but I did listen to the audiobook from Libby while reading that ARC. But wow, I love this book. Is it very similar to Rosemary's Baby? Yes, but no at the same time. The commentary on womanhood and just what it's like to be a woman, and aging and childcare and the medical system as a whole as a woman, the commentary about that is so spot on and amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it. It goes into so many different areas of being a woman, and I really just appreciated it. Aside from that, it's so fast paced. I mean, weird stuff starts happening right off the bat, and it doesn't stop. And there's parts where it was very strange. It did get very weird at parts, but I totally was down for that and happy about it. I love when books, especially spooky books, get a little bit weird and different, and I definitely felt that here. We are also hearing like stories from different women throughout, and it's like little clippets, and some of the people are involved in the overarching story, and some of them are not. It's just like clips of women and their experience with what was happening to them that was also happening to our main character. And wow, I love that aspect too, because usually I wouldn't like that jumping around as much, but it worked really well in this, and I was surprised by that, honestly. The end, I mean, was there a little bit of cheesy stuff? Yes. I was surprised with how it all shook out, and I was really satisfied by it. It definitely went a little bit different than I had anticipated in the very end, so I was so happy with it all. Is it super scary? No. But is it weird? Does it have that suspense? Is it a little bit creepy? For sure. If you're a woman, you would enjoy this. Also, if you've ever read Rosemary's Baby, just give this a read. Like, you definitely should. I think you would definitely enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of Rosemary's Baby. but I'm so happy with it and I highly recommend giving it a go. Really with this one, I knew it was either I was gonna love it or I was gonna hate it, and I'm so happy to say that I love this one. But yeah, satisfied with the weirdness, the commentary. It definitely was a little bit creepy, and you know, there was one point I was listening and something happened and I literally out loud said, "What the F?" I was like, what? Like, what is happening? Because it shook me. So I was just so happy with everything. Wow. So yeah, highly recommend. It's a fun time, but also major trigger warnings. Anything with like kids, babies, trying to get pregnant, loss, anything like that. Huge trigger warnings because there's definitely parts that are a little bit gruesome in that arena. So just be aware of that. But yeah, I'm so happy that it was good. But that's the end of my reading vlog for this week. I will be reading a couple of things between now and when I start my next reading vlog. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, especially all this way through. You are amazing and I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you have any recommendations or questions or comments, put them below. I would love to chat with y'all. But yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful day and rest of your week.